Today we are going to take notes on similar figures. Our first definition for similar figures is as follows. Similar figures are figures which have the same shape but not necessarily the same size. They have angles that are congruent. Which is really important, so I'm going to star that. They have to have congruent angles. The next definition is going to be corresponding sides. Corresponding sides are sides on two different figures that lie in the same place on two different figures. So the next definition is corresponding angles, and this is very similar to corresponding sides, except now we're going to have angles on two different figures. And these angles are going to be in the same relative position on the two figures. So that lie in the same position. So they're angles on two different figures that lie in the same position. Our last definition is proportional, and proportional is two ratios that are equivalent. So if something is proportional, it's two ratios that when they are reduced, they are equivalent. Now let's look at some examples. We have this triangle, and we're going to write out its proportion. So we are going to start with the 3, and its setup is going to be 3 to 4 to 5. So we're going from this one to this one to this one. And that is going to be the ratio of its sides. So now we're going to look at another triangle. And if we draw this one, its sides are 9, 12, and 15. And we want to see, are these similar triangles? So we're going to write it the same way. We're going to go 9 to 12, 12 to 15. So 9 to 12 to 15. And what we need to do is we need to find its greatest common factor so that we can reduce all of these to the lowest term. And the greatest common factor is going to be 3. So we're going to divide all of these numbers by 3. And we're going to get 9 divided by 3, which is 3. 12 divided by 3, which is 4. And 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So if you look, this ratio and this ratio are the same. So these triangles, even though their lengths are different, are going to be similar. So let's try one together. Typically, you're going to write the smallest number first. So we're going to write 2 to 6 and then 6 to 8. So 2 to 6 to 8. And then we're going to look over here, and we're going to go 5 to 15 and 15 to 20. So 5 to 15 to 20. And if you look, we need to reduce both of these. So the greatest common factor of this one is going to be 2. So we're going to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So its ratio in simplest form is 1 to 3 to 4. Now we're going to do it with this one. Its greatest common factor is 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is going to be 3. And 20 divided by 5 is going to be 4. If you look, their ratios are the same. So they are too going to be similar triangles. Alright, so now let's look at these triangles and figure out if they are similar. So remember, typically you're going to start with the lowest one, so 10 to 12, 12 to 14. And we're going to look over here. This one's going to be set up 15 to 18, 18 to 24. And now we want to find their lowest values. So this one we can divide by 2. And this is going to give us 10 divided by 2 is 5, 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 14 divided by 2 is going to be 7. And then we're going to look over here, and it's going to be 3. So we're going to divide by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 24 divided by 3 is going to be 8. So if we look at our two proportions, they are not equal, so these are not similar. Another way is we can just look at line segments. So if we look at the first one, we have AB, which is right here. And we're going to say AB is corresponding to what other line segment? And that is going to be MN. So we would write MN. So that ratio is going to be 10 to 15. Because there's a 10 here and a 15 here. Now let's look at another one. We have CB. CB is going to be here. So it corresponds to PN. And all we know from that one is going to be 16. So we have that over X. We don't know what PN equals yet. And then we are going to look at NP, which is what we said, we don't know. It's going to be similar. Alright, and then we have NP. That is going to be the same one we talked about, but you're going to write it BC here because they went from N to P, so you want to go from B to C. And that is going to be something over 16. It's the same X. And then we have MP, which is here. It's going to be the same as AC, which is going to be 21 over 14. Now to find out what x equals, we're just going to set two of them equal to each other. So let's choose 10 and 15 right there. So 10 and 15 is going to be equal to, and since 10 is on the top, we'll do 16 over x. And then you can cross multiply to figure out what that equals. So 15 times 16 is 240 equals 10x. Divide each side by 10. And x is going to equal 24. Alright, I want you to pause this one and try it on your own. And then you can come back and play through it and see if you got the answers right. To set this one up, you're going to say 9 over 18 is equal to 5 over x. Now you're just going to cross multiply to figure out what does x equal. So we're going to say 9 times x equals 18 times 5. 18 times 5 equals 90. So 9x equals 90. If we divide both sides by 9, x is going to equal 10. So in order for these to be similar, x is going to have to equal 10 feet. Let's try another one. Go ahead and pause this and try it on your own, and then come back and see if you got the right answer. We'll work it out together. Let's say we'll use, we're going to use 36. We're going to use 36 and 27. So 36 over 27 equals 60 over x. Now we're going to cross multiply. 36x equals 60 times 27. So 60 times 27 is 1620. Divide by 36. And x is going to equal 45. Let's try the next one. This one has a binomial, which means x is added to a number. So this will be a little bit more difficult. So you can pause it and try it on your own, or you can work through it with me. So let's set this up. We have x plus 2 over 10, which are these two numbers, equals 10 over 4, which are these two numbers. Now we're going to cross multiply and solve for x. So 4 times x plus 2 equals 10 times 10. So we need to use the distributive property. So 4 times x plus 4 times 2, which is 8, equals 100. Now this is just a one-step equation. So minus 8 from each side. 4x equals 92. Divide by 4. X is going to equal 23. Now complete the two Google assessments located at the bottom of the video.